Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's Word Study. Good friends of mine, Mark and Laura, from up in the beautiful state of Oregon, asked me a couple of questions, and so I'm going to be answering those. We're looking at truth, we're looking at brotherhood, and we're looking at hold fast. But first, truth, because in Tuesday's newscast, I talked about Webster's Dictionary, 1828.com. If you didn't catch on to that one, do yourself a big favor. Go to the bookstore and get Webster's Dictionary, 1828, and go onto the web, Webster's Dictionary, 1828.com. No other, that one, and bookmark it. And check out the tail end of my news this past Tuesday. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I went to Webster's Dictionary, 1828.com, and I talked about truth. And Webster says that it has, it points at anything which is, was, or shall be. And it quotes scriptures and everything like that. Well, you know, the Alpha and the Omega, the Aleph and the Tau, Yahweh, who is, who was, and who is to come. I mean, it's just so in line with Scripture. So I thought first we'd look at truth, and here's the Otiot for that. It's Strong's Exhaustive Concordance number H571. The word is emet, and it's spelled Aleph, Mem, Tau. This is the word that we often see translated into English as truth. Emet. Aleph, picture of the ox head, points at Abba, Father. It's an ox head because it has to do with being yoked. And Aleph is all about being yoked to Abba, Father, Yahweh. And then we have Mem. It's a picture of water. It also speaks of blood. Water is the word washes us clean. Blood, of course, Yeshua purchased us with his blood. It has to do with questioning things. And then Tau, a picture of crossed sticks. It's used to mark a location. It is a sign. It is a monument. So what is truth? And you know, my friends, when we talk about the Otiot, these letters, the most ancient form, the original form that the Father used, we are looking at the elements that make up our universe. Elohim spoke everything into existence. Everything was created using the original Aramaic Hebrew words. These Otiot are the very elements that make up our universe, because our universe was created with these. We were created with these. So what is truth? Truth is something, first of all, that is yoked to the Father. It teaches the Father to us. Aleph. Mem. Truth is the word that washes us clean. Truth is Yeshua's blood, the purest. Truth is to question, and of course, to receive answers. That's what, you know, we want to know the truth. That's a question. And Tau, truth, it's a signature. It has Yahweh's signature on it. It is a monument to him, and it is emet, truth. The Father, his word, and his signature. Now, Mark and Laura also asked me about Brotherhood, and they were citing Kepha 1, that's 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 17, where Kepha writes, respect all, love the brotherhood, revere Elohim, respect the sovereign. He's giving instructions, and he says, love the brotherhood. The brotherhood is referring to the believers, of whom Yeshua is the head. Love the believers. Love the Kodashim. I talked about that word in other places. But here specifically, Kepha writes, love the brotherhood. The Ruach is speaking through Kepha and saying, love the brotherhood. Well, what is brotherhood? In the original Aramaic, here's the Otiot. It's Strong's H264. The word is achava. Achava. And it is spelt Aleph, Chet, Wa, He. Aleph. We just covered that one. Picture of the ox head. It's all about being yoked to Abba, Father. Chet, picture of a fence or a gate. It has to do with dividing. It also has to do with protecting and surrounding. It has to do with the Netchatef, the rapture, the resurrection. And it has to do with the operation of the spiritual gifts of the Ruach HaKodesh. Then we have Wa, picture of a tent peg. Pitch your tent with Elohim. One of my favorites. I love the tent peg because it's all about you pitching your tent with Elohim, Elohim pitching his tent with you, us learning to build our lives with Elohim. And then we have He, picture of a man with his arms raised. You know, I keep meaning to mention this because you see in this Otiot, where are this guy's legs? It kind of swirls off. Doesn't it look like a spirit? There are other versions of this ancient pictographic oat where you see a man with his arms up and he has two legs. Inappropriate, because hey, it's a picture of a man with his arms raised, being in awe. It means look, behold. It has to do with the breath of life, or a sigh as in awe. It has to do with revelation. And here's my point about those legs. It has to do with the fifth dimension of spirit. The Father is spirit, and he seeks those who will worship him in spirit. So to draw this oat as a man with legs, that's pointing at the physical man of flesh. This is the proper oat. No legs. This is a man of spirit, because it's all about the fifth dimension of spirit and worshiping the Father in spirit. So, love the Achava. Who are the Achava? Those who, Aleph, they are yoked to the Father. They are being taught by the Father. They have Chet. They have been divided and separated from the world. They are surrounded by the Father's Gader HaKodesh, his hedge of protection. They are going to be taken in the net chetef, the rapture. Wa, these are those who are pitching their tent with Elohim. These are those whom Elohim is pitching his tent with and teaching those how to pitch a tent with him. And finally, hey, these are those who are worshiping the Father in spirit. People often say, how do we worship him in spirit? And I just say, by not worshiping him in the flesh. The Pharisees worshipped him in the flesh. They stood on the street corner praying and, in the flesh. They wanted everyone to see how spiritual they are. They weren't worshiping the Father. They were worshiping the world. That's worshiping in the flesh is always pointing at yourself. Oh, look at me. Even if you're doing it with the Father. Oh, Father, look at me. Look at how much I love you. That's in the flesh. You don't try to point at yourself. You only look up to him. Now, the third word we want to look at is about holding fast. In Revelation chapter 3, verse 11, we see Yeshua says, "See, I am coming speedily. Hold what you have, that no one take your crown." Other versions say, hold fast to what you have. But there's only one word there, and that word is chazak. Strong's H2388. A lot of times it'll say hold fast, in the English. They're trying to get the idea across to people that, really hold on to this. Yeshua is saying, hold what you have, that no one take your crown. Your crown? I have a video about the crowns. You can go to the search tool on my channel on YouTube. Type in crowns. You should see it. There are 7 crowns that I've discovered. There may be more. I've not found more than that. But there are crowns that we can achieve in eternity. Of course, we lay them at Yeshua's feet. They belong to him. But he says, I'm coming quickly. Hold what you have so that no one may rob you and deprive you of your crown. Hold what you have. He's talking to the Achava, those who are yoked to the Father. They've been separated from the world. They are operating in the spiritual gifts of the Ruach. They're pitching their tent with Elohim, and they are worshiping the Father in spirit. Those are the things that mark us as the Kodashim, the ones who are dedicated to Elohim. And he's saying, hold on to that so that no one may rob you and deprive you. Being unevenly yoked, if there's anyone in your life who is not evenly yoked with you because they're not yoked to Abba Father, you need to move away from those people because they will pull you off the path, Sad, the way, and they'll get you on the broad path that leads to destruction. Yeshua is saying, hold on to what you have because it's not difficult for you to be pulled away from it. So the word here is hold. Strong's H2388, pronounced chazak. And it is spelled Chet Zayin Kuf. Chet, we just did this one, picture of a fence. It has to do with dividing things. It's Yahweh's Gader HaKodesh, his hedge of protection, being surrounded and protected by him. It has to do with the resurrection, the rapture, the net chetef, and chai, spiritual life, and the operation of the gifts of the ruach. That's chet. Zayin, picture of a plowing tool. This talks about the spiritual man. Living the Torah brings freedom. It's a digging tool or a plowing tool. It has to do with digging into the Word. You are using the Zayin now because you're digging into the Word with me. It has to do with being fruitful and spreading the good seed. And it has to do with remembering the Shabbat, the Sabbath. Then we have Kuf. It's a picture of the sun at the horizon. It has to do with cycles. I talked about cycles in my video about Ezekiel's wheels, done fairly recently. And it has to do with light, either growing or diminishing. The sun rises in the east. It shines light into the darkness. It sets in the west, and light diminishes into darkness. The east is Kadam, back to the beginning, back to the source, back to the Father. That's east. West is away from the Father, into the ways of the world, into darkness. East is Tzad, the way, the narrow path. West is the broad path, and so on. So when Yeshua says, hold what you have so that no one may take it away from you, he's saying, chet, separate yourself from the things of the world. You know, when I say in my videos, and I talk about separating yourself from the world, I am not talking about you completely removing yourself from the world and not having anything to do with anything or anyone in the world. No, Yeshua, John 17, prayed to the Father. He says, they are in the world. Don't take them out of the world. They are not of this world, but they are in it. Don't take them out of it, but protect them from the evil one. So, you know, when I say, you know, separate yourself from the things of the world, you know, you're in the world. You're not of the world, but you are in it, and you cannot remove yourself from it. But you can remove yourself from the things of the world. You separate yourself from having interests in the things of the world rather than the things of Elohim. So that's chet, separating yourself from the world, the things of the world, and operating in the spiritual gifts of the Ruach. And if you are truly pitching your tent with Elohim and worshiping him in the Spirit, the Ruach will impart gifts to you. I have videos on this too. Nobody owns any of the gifts. Somebody says, oh, he has the gift of prophecy. No, he doesn't have it. Nobody owns the gifts. The Ruach will use any believer to operate in any one of the gifts at any time. So, then, so holding on to what you have means you have to separate yourself from the love of the things of the world and hold on to the things of Yahweh's Malchut, his kingdom. That's chet. Then zayin, you by digging into the Word and remembering the Sabbath, growing in the Ruach, receiving the filling of the Ruach, That's how you hold on to things. If you're not growing in the Spirit, these things can be slipping away from you. And then Kuf, the sun, has to do with the cycles, has to do with learning, but primarily looking to the east, Kadam, back to the beginning, back to the source, looking to the Father, keeping your eyes on the prize. That's what Yeshua is talking about there. And that's our study for this week, my friends. As always, I hope and I pray that this teaching is a beracha to you and yours. I thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you again, Abba willing, next week. And until then, shalom, my friends.
Crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath a naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me.